Hey folks, Dude here, coming at you on of all things, Wednesday, February 1st. And, well, this might be kind of a mini knife blog. You know what? I'll make this a knife blog, just for the hell of it. It's been a while, so there's another episode of Dude's Knife Blog. Today's thing we're going to be talking about is, well, a couple minor examples of those obscure knives from back in the 80s and early 90s that I really wish I'd bought more of. Case and point would be examples like this guy. This is a copy of the Almar Quicksilver 5, I believe it was. And literally, it is a big honking knife. Literally, it is a big honking knife. So big, in fact, that literally it'll scare the crap out of most people who encounter it because it is 13 inches overall with like a 6-inch blade. It is absolutely insane, and you guys saw just how quick and easy I popped that sucker and open. Literally, this thing could be somewhere up to and including really not good times for whoever manages to get on the receiving end of it. It is a 50-50 with a fairly aggressive serration. Not the sharpest knife blade whatsoever. Probably is a 440C stainless, because that's pretty much what they used back in the day. And it does say Taiwan. Let me play with my focus just a little bit here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Does say stainless, does say Taiwan. On the other side, it says nothing. Now, these were probably made under the namesake of like United or, what a Fury or one of those other kind of second-rung knife companies that would pretty much take an existing design and make it. Now, of all things, I'm sure Almar was not too happy, but he died sometime back in the 90s. I forget when the exact year was, but he died, a good ways, probably before these things really popped over and got popular in the surplus stores, and it essentially is a very not bad copy. The steel is a lot softer. It is not made in Seki, because the ones made in Seki were premium quality things. Now, the difference between this one and this one is this one's got a little bit more wear in the thumb stud. Obviously, it's got a bit more wear in the hinge, but the lockup on this thing is still surprisingly decent. And it is a big honkin'-ass knife. But what Almar was thinking was he wanted something big. And, of course, with this nylon handle that has all the cutouts in it, it's maybe, I'm going to take a stab at it and say maybe it's about a 7 or 8 ounce knife. So it's not light, but it is not heavy. For its size, it is very, very light. Now, if you were a cop and you had, the classic trick where you had, the inseam pocket on your patrol pants, which usually they had happen. Usually they used to have, the blackjack in there, the lead sap that got knocked out by having to be used under, the ASP batons, the ones that the cops snap out. It's like the tube that has a piece of steel pop out with a knob on the end that really gets your attention when you rap on somebody. Yeah. These would fit in that same inseam pocket on their pants. Now, case in point, you're talking about a big honking knife. They can do a heck of a lot of damage. You saw just how quick and easy I popped the thing open. The walk and talk on this thing is not great. That said, it does open exceedingly fast, and trying to play with this little stupid thumb stud, really, your range of motion to get the thing open is ridiculous. So it's not something that's going to work out in its best way of doing things. That said, let's just see how big this thing is. Have my official tape measure here, so let's just see how big this booger actually is. Let me lock this sucker on open here, and we'll get an idea of just how big it is. Okay, so literally, at the 1 foot mark being right there, you can see closed, it is a 7-inch knife closed. Okay, it is not small. You know what, let's just do this a little bit more professionally so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Let me just zoom in just a step or two. And move it over that way so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So literally, it is a 7-inch knife. Now, open, let's see how big this thing grows. We've just gone from a 7-inch knife to closing in on a 13-inch knife. Now, I'm not kidding you, folks. This thing is big. I mean, it's quite large for what you actually got. And I'm not playing here. I mean, you guys are seeing it for what it is. It was a very big knife. So, moving back out, moving back out, moving back out, all the good stuff like that there. So, literally what these things was it was something very light, very easy, and very capable for the cop to have on board in such time that he needed something. Well, let's just say he had to engage the guy, and he didn't want to actually engage him mano a mano because things were not going to work out for him, or he needed a happenstance device where you pretty much make the bad guy go, oh snap, I'm about to get really, really cut up bad. Because you look at somebody who's swinging something that looks like this, you're going to get somebody's attention. First and foremost, it is several inches longer than my outstretched palm, and I have fairly big hands. So you're talking minimum penetration power. Yeah, you're going to stick something very important. It is a leaf-style blade, spear point, not sharpened on the false edge, but it is a fairly thick piece of stock. I'm going to say, casual estimation, it's at least... It's not a small piece. It's not a 1/4 inch. It's not a 3/8. If I had to take a stab at it with millimeters, it would be probably about 4, maybe almost 5 millimeters in actual spine. I mean, it's actually got a very, very thick spine. So the stock that they used to make this knife was not exactly light duty to begin with. It was actually made to be fairly strong. Would I want to put a lot of torque on this thing? No, because it only has a steel insert for the side with the liner. So the actual other side is easier to break. That said, it is a very stiff feeling piece of kit. Knife blade open, the handle still feels very substantial. This is one of those ones that Almar really truly got correct. It is a very good feeling knife. Now, the funny thing about it is, I'm going to do a quick story here and then a quick modern iteration I can tell you about where it's still being offered. The story I can tell you guys was I was flying out of Reagan National and flying up to Maine, doing a vacation up in Portland. I literally went up to Portland, Maine, because I was vacationing at a place there called Gray and Gray Lake. I was literally staying on the lake with my girlfriend's family at the time, and I went up there for a week, and I had a hell of a lot of fun. Maine is just an awesome state. Flew back home from Portland, back to Reagan, so it was a quick and easy flight. That said, the guy was like, okay, well, we need to look through your bag and blah, 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 blah. But this is back before the TSA. The guy goes, holy crap, what do you use this for? And I was like, I drove a tow truck, and I use this to cut the seatbelts to tie the doors shut. And he's like, well, why would you cut the seatbelts? Like, well, you have a completely bashed car that the fire department hacked open to get the guy out of the car. The hinges are pretty much shot. The door's all bent up, and it won't latch back onto itself. So you do the most field expedient thing. You cut the seatbelt, and you simply just tie the door shut using the seatbelt. And the guy goes, oh, that makes sense. And I was like, see, it's a serrated edge, so it actually cuts the seatbelt very, very easily. He goes, okay, that makes sense. Sure, no problem. So he let me fly with this. Nowadays, you'd be very, very lucky to fly with something like, the itty-bitty small blade on a Swiss Army knife. You'd be very, very lucky to fly with something like this. So this is back in the bygone day where you actually could get away with some stuff, and it wasn't a big deal because everybody was just like, okay, we're not complete raging paranoids, so you could get away with just flying with a knife. Ugh. Now, here's the funny thing. Like I said, this one is marked out and stated as being a copy. They don't even state that as being a copy, but you know what it is when you look at it. It is a copy of the Quicksilver 5 put out from Almar. Now, these things are put out, and they state most just generically on the box, folding police knife, 7 inches closed. Stainless steel blade, nylon fiber handle, overall 13 inches. They don't even really have anything except for like this really kind of almost cheesy, barely noticeable kind of a part number on the, it's really just a generic stock number. Doesn't really say anything huge about it. The box is really, really, really generic. And the thing about it is this thing really does not draw attention to it saying, this is an Almar copy. Well, there's a guy that has one of these, and I searched using all my various search parameters to try to find some more of these, because I used to get these things for about $20, and I only have 3 of them. I want more, okay? So the guy has one on eBay. If you want to look it up, just look up Almar Quicksilver 5. You will find it. And what he stated was this: prototype. Almar prototype. See, what happened was, I'm paraphrasing what dude said here. What Almar needed to do was he was looking to see if he wished to have it cheaply produced in another place before he went to Seki City. So he tried it out as prototypes in Taiwan. Okay, I can tell you for a fact, folks, the Almar Quicksilver was out for some years and fell out of favor, fell out of sales. Almar passed. His wife decided not to make them anymore because the Almar Corporation still is in operation. Almar's wife runs Almar Knives currently. They do not make a Quicksilver. And the thing about it is, this dude was describing this thing as the Taiwan knife prototype for Almar. Not the case at all, but very, very creative, and he only wants $150 for it. So if you guys want to buy one of these things for $150, saying it is a prototype Almar Quicksilver, yeah, it could be you. It's not going to be me. If you guys want to spend $150 for a knife that only costs like, $20, $25, it's heyday, have at it. You're a better man than I am, and enjoy. On this one, folks, I'm going to break off, and of course, we're now going to be talking about a cool little clone for the Almar Quicksilver 5, and definitely one that I wish to get more of, so I'm scrounging around. If you see one of these, do be sure to let me know. I'll give you guys a finder's fee, and hopefully it doesn't cost too much trying to get one of these boogers, because, well, they're not getting any cheaper, and trust me, when these things were being sold, I really wish to hell I'd bought about 20 or 30 of them at a time, because I could be selling Almar Taiwanese prototypes on eBay currently. On that one, folks, I'm going to break off of this one. Eat good, keep the ring, and, as usual, keep them sharp. Stay sharp, and make sure you have a good knife. This is not a user. This is definitely a collector piece at this point, but still an interesting piece of kit, and I commend it to you. Have a nice one, and thank you guys so much for tuning in on this usually interesting and hopefully not too terribly drawn-out version of Dude's Knife Blog. I give it to you, the clone Quicksilver 5. Good times. See you guys. Eat your keep centering as always, you love it. Knife Blog. See you guys.